Hoopy-doo, it's everyone's favorite boomer and vintage lens enthusiast. Today we're looking at the Kodak Z1275, an ancient point and shoot from 2007. 5x zoom, Schneider Kruznak Varagon. Well, I guess everyone does license their name because it was made in China. 12 megapixels. It has a decent sized screen, very rudimentary menu. It was made in 2007, and the calendar, this is the last year for the calendar. It's 2007 to 2025. So it takes a SD card. It's only 2 gigabyte. That lasts a long time. The implementation of the JPEG algorithm is medium. So and it's 90%. So you get small files, but your quality will suffer a little bit. It will make 8.5 by 11 prints. Beautiful, look nice, but that's about it. So there's nothing left over. You could crop a little bit, but not much. If you open the door to change the batteries, you lose your time and you have to reset your time. So let's just turn it on and I'll show you. Firstly, when I first got the camera, I left it in auto mode and I was getting really crappy results. And then I found out I had to go into PM, which is program and manual. I have to dial in manually the aperture and the shutter speed. They have a little indicator where you're either plus or minus. So you just adjust the aperture and the shutter speed until you're within a half a f-stop of nominal, and then you'll get good results. It's a daylight camera. It likes bright light. It will take brightly lit city scenes like New York City, Times Square, sort of a business. It has a built-in flash. The flash always comes on in auto, so if you don't want the flash to fire off, you have to hit the flash button until it has the cross through it, so you know there's no flash. It has manual focus, which is very useful. I usually set it for either close-up, or I set it for mountains, which is infinity, or mostly autofocus will work, but sometimes it gets goofy and it doesn't, then you got to go to manual. So it's not like an action camera. You could get lucky, just point and shoot at something, and when it goes bink, you could take a picture. But usually I got to fiddle with everything, and then I get good results. It's small, it's lightweight, it'll fit in a small shirt pocket. I put this lanyard on myself. Oops, they had a very short strap. The strap is like only this big, so I want to hang it around my neck, and you can walk around all day with this thing and take pictures. Oh, and another thing, it has a medium-sized LCD screen, but it's not that bright. So if you're a bright sun, you're going to be going like that. It has notice it has no optical viewfinder. That was another thing. This is one of the first generations of cameras that came out without optical viewfinders. And if it was a bright screen, that would have been great. But no, even when you turn the screen all the way up, you know, in bright sunlight, you gotta go like that. Of course, you know, you can always shoot from the shade and you know, stay out of the sun. But that is a con. So you gotta keep that in mind. It will take good pictures, but you gotta like tinker with it. Absolutely, you gotta tinker with it. Otherwise, well, if you could pick one up at a garage sale for $5, that's all they're worth, $5. Yeah. Now, it's been around the world and back, or around my neighborhood and back, and it is a little scruffy looking. I haven't never whacked it or dropped it or anything, but it has lasted all these years. Although it has sat fallow for a long time. I use it a lot, and I lay around, then I use it for something. And now what I do is I just put it in my book bag, which is my lunch bag, and I take it to work with me every day. You never know when you might want to take a picture of something, you know, around the neighborhood. Without a doubt, you just never know. So I'll turn it on for a minute, just so you can see. And this is the zoom button. Wow, real stovepipe, ain't it? Yeah, that's it. And I always have the grid on. I have it in the for faraway subjects. It's a manual mode, so here is the F numbers, here's the shutter speed, and this thing is hard to see. The thing that tells you if your exposure, how far away from exposure you are, so that becomes problematic. Up here I have the flashes off. It tells you it's 12 megapixels, and I guess I only got 66 pictures left. Wow. Well, I'll have to look into that. So it's better than no camera at all. And you know what? I hate cell phones. Cell phones suck. You know, it has buttons. I like buttons. And it has a dial. I like dials. And yeah, I paid $250 for this, brand new in 2007. And this was like top of the game. This is what everyone was putting out. Nikon, Canon, those other people like Minolta was still in the game, Fuji, etc. And so, was it great or was it foolproof? No. You know, if you want to just point and shoot it, I got very, shall we say, not so good results with that. So, of course, since I'm a real photographer, I don't mind using manual mode. But why don't we look at some pictures? And these are historical photos of New York City, Chinese New Year, which was in the year of the rabbit, which was in the Chinese New Year. They celebrated in sometime in February of 2011 that year. So why don't we just look at some photos, and then you can decide, even if you want to pick one up for $5 at a garage sale. Now here's a great picture of this bird. There's some seagulls sitting at the ferry station. We always take the ferry over to go to the city. Here's a Wonder One crop of that. That's really nice looking. So you hop on the ferry at Weehawken. It goes across the Hudson River, and you can see the skyline as you pull up. Now remember, this is from 2011, so these are like historical records. It's all different looking now. You can see some buildings are under construction, and they're all constructed by now. And it blocks the view or changes the view. There's the Concorde at the Intrepid Air and Space Museum. Notice how this camera was blowing the highlights. Of course, I was shooting in automatic mode because I was a dope. Now look, I caught this bird. He photobombed the Intrepid aircraft carrier. Ha ha ha. And here's another shot. I had to really adjust the levels on these. You know, I had to really kill the highlights without destroying the shadow areas. This looked like, I don't know if that was chalk. It's in front of. Here's an interesting store. I think it was the Wooden Indian store or something. And I just took this picture. I didn't go inside. Here's a B picture. This camera is capable of taking really nice photos. If you set it in automatic, you get lucky. If you go to manual mode and you fiddle with it, you can get a lot better results. Although it's hard to shoot from the hip when you're, you know, fiddling with controls and dials and stuff. So this is down in Chinatown. Here's some confetti. It's Chinese New Year, Year of the Rabbit, 2011 in New York City. I don't know what flags those are. I don't think that's Communist China flags. That's some other flags. Here's a dragon, paper dragon, hanging from some notion store. This is all, they had confetti shooters. They look like tubes or giant sex toys. And you pull this a trigger on the bottom, and it would shoot out confetti. There's quite a big crowd there. I was surprised. Me and my girlfriend got there early, and it was pretty sparse, but all of a sudden everyone filled up all at once. She ended up across the street, and these are what, the dragon dancers or whatever. And these are really nice, sharp pictures, you know. It surprised me. Sometimes it took really good pictures, but I was adjusting the highlights on almost every shot I took here. You know, the mid-range, the shadows would be perfectly exposed, but the highlights would be like almost blown out. So live and learn, says I. You know, I know how to handle this camera now. I only had, oh, look at that. It's up Chuck 6 Ways to Tuesday Schumer when he was a young man. And these are, I guess, the Grand Marshals are on the floats. Notice they have rabbit motifs all over. And these sex toy looking things, those actually shoot out the confetti. There's like a cord you pull on the bottom. I guess it's charged with some compressed air, and it shoots out these pieces of paper or whatever. And they had balloons all over. And, you know, I guess these were important people on the floats or what may have you. I guess these were some beauty queens, some Asian beauty queens. Everyone looks like they're having a good time. There must have been some trick to those confetti shooters. I didn't buy any. See, and they make a cloud, and they would hang in the air for a second, and then they're all fluttered down. That's a close-up shot of it, a cropped shot. So it was pretty cool. You know, I'd never seen the Chinese New Year's celebration. So me and my girlfriend just went that one day. And, you know, I thought it was pretty cool. I wanted to take some videos, but the videos came out pretty horrible because they were all jittery. Notice how the confetti was blurry above that lady's head there. That was like sort of an action shot. And it was pretty cold. So we got there just as the parade started. Maybe it lasted an hour or so. And then everyone sort of like, you know, went on their way. We stopped, of course, we stopped in some Chinese restaurant and got something to eat. And that was our afternoon. Then we scooted back to Jersey. I can't read those characters, so I can't tell you what that says. And here's another dragon dancer people. If you notice, look at some people have old ancient giant camcorders in the crowd. All these new modern miniature things were coming out. That's how much confetti there was. People were shooting those confetti blasters. I thought it was pretty cool. These look like pinwheels. Someone was selling pinwheels or something. Got a shot at that. It's not a bad camera. These pictures look properly exposed, but man, the highlights were blown out, and I really had to adjust the living daylights out of everything. So it sort of like miffed me a little bit. But that was before I realized how the camera worked and what you had to do with it. I don't know if they're all like that, or that was just my sample. But hey, you never know. So I had this camera for 14 years now, and the built-in calendar, 2025 is the last year. The Empire State Building. So we came back to Jersey, and they had piles of snow all over, blocking the skyline. Those piles of snow, they were like, you know, 10 foot high. And it was just piled all over. So 2011 was one of those another bad, snowy, cold, nasty winters. And, but, you know, this is a historical record to document what happened. As pure as New York snow. She had Betty Davis eyes. What can I say about this camera? Pick one up for $5 and play with it, and, you know, it's got a look.